हेलो स्टूडेंट्स। तो आज हम करेंगे रिमेनिंग टॉपिक्स ऑफ द ऑप्टिक्स। सो फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज एसएचएम, सिंपल हार्मोनिक मोशन। हार्मोनिक मोशन, so it is a type of oscillatory motion. It is a type of oscillatory motion where the restoring force is directly proportional to the displacement from the equilibrium position and it acts in the opposite direction. So this retarding force act in the opposite direction. So here it comes the sign of negative sign and it is directly proportional to the displacement from the equilibrium position. So we have this formula F is equals to minus kx. I am sure that you would have heard this formula in your school. See, we call it Hooke's law of electricity. So they can directly ask you to define the Hooke's law. Elasticity. So this is the Hooke's law. So we have the example for it. We can take the example of mass spring system. Mass spring system. So in this case what happens, a block attached to a spring oscillates back and forth when displaced from its equilibrium position. So we attach the block to the spring and when we stretch the spring to the distance x, or we can say any distance, then this box will oscillate back and forth. This is the example of simple harmonic motion. One more example we can take is simple pendulum. So what happens in simple pendulum? A pendulum swinging. A pendulum swing with small oscillations. The pendulum swings with small oscillations. So in this case, we all have seen the diagram of simple pendulum. Like it oscillates from its mean position to some height and then comes back. So in this case we have the formula for the time period of the simple pendulum. It is 2 pi length of pendulum upon g. So from this formula we come to know that the time period of simple pendulum does not depend on its mass. So it is mass independent. Or examples, let's take some daily life examples. Swings in a park. We all know a child on a swing moves back and forth in a motion similar to the simple pendulum. So first example is swings in the park. Next we can take the example of car suspension. So what happens in car suspension? The shock absorbers in a car act like damped oscillators, where the springs and dampers control vibration to ensure a smooth ride. We also have this suspension. Su- su- we also have the suspension in the cycles and the cars. So we can further understand what is damped and undamped oscillations in this class only. Let's move on to our next topic, which is inductance. So what is the inductance? We will understand in simple terms. So inductance is the ability of a coil or a circuit to resist changes in electric current. So it is like a resistance itself. It is not a proper resistance. We can compare it with the movement of inertia. Like the inertia stops the body to change its motion or to get in the motion. Similarly, the inductance is the ability of a coil or a circuit to resist changes in current. It's like the inertia in electricity. So how does it works?
कबूतर
How does it works? So when current flows through a wire, it creates a magnetic field around it. We all know that the changing electric current produces the magnetic field, and if the current changes, the magnetic field also changes. This changing magnetic field induces a voltage opposing the change in current. So the changing magnetic field opposes the current, and it doesn't like it stops the currents from flowing itself, but when we stop the current flow in the circuit, the magnetic field also opposes the stoppage of the current. So what it does, it provides the current from itself. So we can take any analogy to understand this. Imagine water flowing through a pipe. If you suddenly try to stop or start the water flow, inertia resists the change. ठीक है? Then similarly in an inductor, changing current creates an opposing voltage resisting sudden change in the current. So we have the formula of inductance as V is equals to L di by dt. V is the induced voltage, L is the inductance, and di by dt is the change in current. Yes. So we can take any real life examples. We have the transformers. So are these transformers are used in the power supply system to step up or step down the voltage. So here we use the inductance. So these transformers work on the principle of mutual inductance. So what is mutual inductance? Where a changing current in one coil, if we have suppose one coil, if the current is changing in this coil, it will induce the magnetic field or like the changing current here will produce magnetic field, and because of this there will be inducement or production of voltage in another coil. So this is the concept of mutual inductance. So transformers, we have the electric motors and generators, or we have the doorbell, traffic light sensors. Like many traffic lights have inductive loop sensors buried in the road that detect vehicles by sensing changes in inductance when a motor car moves over them. Okay, so next we will be learning the key principles. Like if they asked you Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So what are these Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction? It says that changing current in a conductor produces a changing magnetic field. So changing conduct in a conductor produces a changing magnetic field. So this is the first law of electromagnetic induction, Faraday's law. And what is the second law? Second law says that this changing magnetic field induces a voltage. Changing magnetic field. Changing magnetic field induces a voltage whom we call as EMF. So the changing current is producing the changing magnetic field. Then this changing magnetic field is producing the voltage. And these are the laws of Faraday. And we have one formula, like what is the formula for this EMF, electromagnetic force? So it is 1 dq by dt. Okay, so after that we have Lenz's law. Can you define Lenz's law? So what is Lenz's law says? It says that the induced EMF opposes the change in current that caused it. Like we know that the induced EMF is produced by the changing current, but that EMF itself opposes the change in current. So this is why inductance resists changes in current flow. So these all are concepts under inductance. ठीक है, so inductance is like a inertia that opposes the change in current in the circuit or a coil. Let's move on to our next topic, where we will be understanding what is the difference between damped and undamped oscillations. Damped oscillations. So what are these damped oscillation we have, and undamped oscillation? We will understand this in simple terms. So first we will be understanding the this damped oscillations. So what happen in this case? There is the energy loss. If we take the example from real life, in real life oscillations don't last forever. For example, the somehow the oscillation stops itself after some time because of the friction, air drag, or electrical resistance. So there is the energy loss. So in damped oscillations sorry, oscillations don't last forever because of resistance, air drag, or electrical resistance. So there is the loss, the system losses energy over time. So in damped oscillation, the system loses energy over time, reducing the amplitude until it stops. So we have the types of damping, light damping. So first we will understand light damping. So what happens in light damping? Oscillations gradually decrease in amplitude but continue for some time before stopping. For example, a pendulum in air or a car in suspension. Like if we provided the initial force, the pendulum will still oscillate, but it will stop after some time. It will take some time to stop. On the other hand, we have critical damping, heavy damping. So what happens in critical damping? The system returns to equilibrium as fast as possible without oscillating. Okay. For example, we use this concept of fast or critical damping in the shockers, car shock, car shock absorbers. So why we use this shockers to reduce the vibration in the car due to the like the old roads or the khadde in the roads. Okay. So next we have heavy damping. This system slowly returns to equilibrium without oscillating at all. So a door with strong resistance that takes time to close. Okay, so these are the diagram of sorry, types of damping. Now we have undamped oscillations. So what are the undamped oscillation? There is no energy loss. Imagine a pendulum in a vacuum. Pendulum in a vacuum will not face any air resistance or friction, so it will keep vibrating without stopping. That is the example of undamped oscillations. Or we can take example of, there is a ideal mass spring system that we studied in physics. So it keeps moving without the friction. So if we have some like a graph like this, it will be for the undamped. For on the other hand, the graph of the damped oscillation will amplitude will decrease over time. We can take so now we have understand the undamped oscillations. Let's draw graphs of damped and undamped oscillations. Proper graph. Undamped. What happens in heat loss? There is damped oscillation, there is energy loss. But in case of undamped oscillation, there will be no loss of energy, so the amplitude will remain same. So they can ask you to draw the graphs as well. Next we will understand what is the Q value. So the Q value, quality factor. The Q value is used in of damped simple harmonic oscillation. So it measures the rate at which energy decays. So we all know that the energy losses in the damped oscillation. So Q value measure the rate of energy loss. Measures rate of energy decay or loss. Okay, so next we have the concept of forced oscillations and the natural oscillations. So it is we can understand it from the word itself, that what is the difference between the two, forced and natural oscillation. So in forced oscillation we will be applying the continuous force. On the other hand, natural oscillation, when the system oscillates with own natural frequency after being disturbed. For example, in this we need some initial disturbance or the force to start, and then it will keep oscillating at its natural frequency. On the other hand, in forced oscillations, an external periodic force is applied. Force drives the system. So in this case, the oscillations occurs at the frequency of the applied force. What can be the examples of these two? For the natural oscillation, we can take the example like the when we displace this is a simple pendulum, it keeps swings at its natural frequency back and forth. So it does not need any external force to keep moving. It moves at its natural frequency. Similarly, the swings in the park, sometimes the parents push the children once and they keep swinging back and forth at the natural frequency. On the other hand, if we take the example of forced oscillations, the parent will be constantly applying force to these children. So he is applying the force so that the swing keeps moving. Some children cry, for example, that please don't stop, because in natural oscillations, if we didn't apply force after some time, it will stop. On the other hand, forced oscillations keep going on because there is a periodic external force applied. Okay, so here after studying this, the main concept comes here, the and if you want to know the what is the natural frequency, We can take some example. Natural frequency example. Let's take example. For example, we have this pendulum. So the pendulum with length L. Pendulum have length L and it will have the frequency of F naught is equals to 1 2 pi G divided by L. So for example, we take a 1 meter long pendulum. Then F naught will come out to be, this is 1 and G will take as 10. So whole calculation after we will get 0.5 Hertz. So this is the natural frequency of a pendulum of 1 meter length. Okay, so this we can understand. On the other hand, we have bridges and buildings. So these structures have natural frequencies based on their dimensions and material. So for example, there is a bridge in London, Millennium. So this bridge in London have the frequency of around natural frequency of around 1 Hertz. So if it matches the pedestrian's frequency, then it will cause unwanted vibrations. So this is the concept of natural frequency, and now we will study the what is resonance. So here we can take the example of swing. We have a swing in a park. So if the children is sitting on the swing and someone applied the initial force and the swing start back and forth moving at its natural frequency. So what happens? Someone comes and apply the same force as matching the natural frequency of it. Then there will be large motion. The swing will be facing the large motion or force. So that is the resonance in which the driving frequency matches the natural frequency of the system. So driving frequency matches the natural frequency. In that case, what happens? The resonance. So for example, we can take glass breaking. We all know due to sound waves, high sound waves of high amplitude or frequency. Sometimes the frequency of sound waves matches the frequency of glasses because of the resonance. The glass breaks down. So this is the example of resonance. Or we can take one example of the bridge, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. It was the Tacoma Narrows Bridge which collapsed due to the wind induced vibrations. So it happens because of the resonance, which is you can remember this Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Okay, so this bridge collapsed due to the wind vibration matching its natural frequency. So this is for the today's class. We will covering another topics in the next lecture. Thank you.